Tonight on Fourth and a Mile, old man Jerry's back in the news. He just doesn't want to stay out of it. Miguel Sano is meeting with MLB investigators, and the Freak has himself a team finally. Stay tuned. Welcome in, my friends, to the show that will not end. This is Fourth and a Mile, presented by Planet Adam. I am your host, the Pharaoh of Planet Adam, or God King, if you will. I am Adam Fernandez, and we've got a lot to talk about tonight. But first, guys, go check out Bandcamp.com. Go check out my friends Jocelyn Gonzalez and Matt Hutton, part of A Bloody Chasm. Just go check out Bandcamp.com and look up A Bloody Chasm. They have 4 or 5 songs on there. You guys will love it, especially if you're into hardcore rock and roll. Sorry, Joey, I'm going to have to get back to you on that. I'm busy doing my show right now. That's a common occurrence here lately. People start messaging me while I'm doing my show. And I use my phone for my comments and such. So yeah, go check out Bandcamp.com. Give A Bloody Chasm a listen. If you're into hardcore rock and roll, you'll absolutely love A Bloody Chasm. They are a great band. They do the intro to this to the show here. The song is called I Want to Rock and Roll, but they have 4 or 5 other songs on there as well. You guys will love it. So, alright, let's get to what's going on in the world of sports. First off, let's start with some baseball. The Players Union is filing a grievance with Major League Baseball against the Miami Marlins, Pittsburgh Pirates, Tampa Bay Rays, and Oakland A's. The reason they're filing said grievance is, according to them, these teams have failed to comply with revenue sharing rules. In other words, what they're saying is that the money that they have gotten from revenue sharing should have gone to make the teams better. That's the rule. However, the Major League Baseball is finding no merit in that because the theory is that they're trying to rebuild. You don't rebuild by going out and spending money on high-priced free agents. You rebuild from within. You get prospects and trades and such. And yes, there have been a lot of trades. The Marlins have traded Giancarlo Stanton, D. Gordon, Marcell Ozuna, Christian Yelich. The Pirates have traded Andrew McCutchen and Garrett Cole. The Rays have traded just about everybody on their team. The A's haven't traded anybody, but they've done really absolutely nothing in the offseason. So what they're saying is they want compensation, the Players Union, I mean. They want compensation for the players that have yet to be signed. In doing so, again, Major League Baseball has said, and I quote, "We have received the grievance and believe it has no merit." These teams are just trying to make sure, or the players union rather, is just trying to make sure that the teams are not either trying to pocket the money or buy down their debt. What they're doing is saving that money to where when they can start rebuilding and start competing, they're going to be able to afford some major free agents. That's what these teams are trying to do. At least that's what Major League Baseball is assuming. I've seen no reason to not believe that. They're not trying to pocket the money. They're trying to build a team that can compete and then go out and get these big-time free agents. To me, that's a smart move. The past two World Series champions, the Chicago Cubs and the Houston Astros, have both pretty much done the same thing. They've built from within. That's how you build a long-term winner. If you want a team that's going to win 1 year, that's when you go out and you buy those high-priced free agents. Because you're not going to be able to, especially these small market teams like this, they're not going to be able to afford giving someone an 8-year contract for $150 million. They can't do it. So what they're trying to do is save up that shared revenue that they get, and 2-3 years down the line, when they feel they're ready to compete, that's when they'll go out and get these high-priced free agents with that money. So that's the theory Major League Baseball has, and it makes perfect sense to me. Again, 2 straight World Series champions have done exactly that. Both the Cubs and the Astros are going to be winning franchises for the next 5, 6, 7 years, if not longer. So that is, in my opinion, that's the way to win in baseball. I hate the Yankees of the early 2000s. Well, even just all the way up till 2010, and they were seemingly trying to buy World Series every year by signing the best players in the league and signing them to astronomical contracts just to fall short, other than in 2009. So, that is, to me, it's the players union trying to be a little more socialist than open market, or free market. I'm a free market enthusiast. I've said that before on this show. I have no problem saying that. I am a capitalist. I honestly believe that what these teams are doing is well within the bounds of what they're allowed to do. I honestly believe that there is nothing wrong with what they're doing, and I honestly believe that they shouldn't have to be forced to pay these high-priced free agents, guys like Mike Moustakas, Jake Arrieta, who else is still out there, Alex Cobb, money when they're not going to be seeing the benefits of having those players. They don't want those players. They don't want them simply because they're trying to rebuild. So they're not going to go out and spend that kind of money when they're trying to get kids down to the minor leagues that they can teach and mentor to play at the major league level, and then bring them up and be major leaguers and win that way, just like the Cubs, just like the Astros. And you know what? In a way, hell, just like the 2 teams that lost the World Series. Believe it or not, yes, the Dodgers have spent a lot of money on free agents, but the majority of their team last year were guys from inside their system. The Indians the year before, same thing. So it works doing that. I've always been a fan of doing that. That's why I hate I love watching free agency as it plays out, but I hate free agency because you start seeing these teams who want to build their franchise around a player, but that player wants astronomical amount of dollars that team cannot afford, so he goes elsewhere. So I don't like seeing that in baseball. And, you know, we've had free agency since the early to mid-'70s, but it hasn't been until really very, very recently that you started seeing these many guys hit the free agent market and try to get these astronomical contracts. It's been relatively recently. I mean, when you look at the fact that Cal Ripken Jr. played his entire career with the Baltimore Orioles, when you look at Tony Gwynn played his entire career with the San Diego Padres, Chipper Jones played his entire career with the Atlanta Braves. Now that's the exception to the rule instead of the rule. The rule now is you go out and you get the most money you can. And I understand that. Again, I am a free market kind of guy. I understand that. But I love seeing a team that sticks together. I love seeing a team that wins a World Series and 5-6 years down the line, they're still going to be competitive because they're still going to have the same guys. That's just the baseball enthusiast in me. So I hate the fact that the Players Union are really trying to, again, be very socialist, saying that basically these guys deserve unemployment pay. No, they don't. They had their contracts expire. They were offered contracts by the teams that they left. They didn't accept them. So now you have to wait and see who's going to offer you contracts. And if you don't like that contract that they're offering, you can deny it. But you know what? You're not going to get paid for it. And for the Players Union to tell them that they have to pay these players is ridiculous. Because if these players are wanting, because there's not a single one of them, in my opinion, worth, and I'd say right now Jake Arrieta is probably the one that's worth the most, but I don't see that he's worth $100 million. I don't see that he's even worth $80 million, to be honest with you. I think he's got 2 or 3 good years left in him, and even then he's been very mediocre. He had a great 2015, but outside of 2015, he hasn't done much. So, I mean, he's still a solid starter, but to say that he's worth that kind of money, you're out of your damn mind. So, the Players Union is trying to play like they are the welfare party of Major League Baseball. And I understand they're supposed to look out for the players. That's the whole point of having a union. And that's what they are. But sorry, I'm not going to I'm with Major League Baseball here 100%. There's no merit behind what you're saying. They're not trying to pocket the money. They're not trying to buy down their debt, at least not that I can see. What they're trying to do is build a winner from the ground up, a winner that they can have around for several years and make money that way. That's how they're going to make money, is by keeping the team together, keeping that team very competitive. And then when you have a competitive baseball team, guess what? You make money as long as you're out of a shit stadium like what they have in Tampa Bay. But Tampa Bay's even trying to do that. Tampa Bay's trying to get themselves another stadium. So that's another reason for Tampa Bay. They're not trying to pocket the money. They're not trying to buy down their debt. They're trying to improve their team, which is the basis behind the rule, by getting them a new stadium. So, yes, Players Union, you guys need to stop this. You are not representing the players well, in my opinion at all, by trying to force teams to compensate these players for money that, guess what, they haven't earned. They haven't earned it because they don't have a contract. Plain and simple. So, all right. So that's my thought basis behind that one. Let me try to get Joey out of here. There he goes. Okay, Joey, I'll get back to you here in a little bit, buddy. I swear. So back in December, and there's nobody here watching right now, which is a big surprise. I had talked about Miguel Sano being accused of assault by a 24-year-old volunteer photographer for the Minnesota Twins named Betsy Bisson. She was at a autograph signing featuring Miguel Sano and several other Twins players. According to her, he grabbed her by the arm after the event and dragged her around the mall and dragged her into stores and such. And kept trying to kiss her and all that kind of stuff. And so she's saying that she was assaulted during that. Miguel Sano vehemently, Jesus, that's a hard word to say sometimes, guys, denies it up and down. She was saying that his agent was standing right there. Well, his agent at the time, that's no longer his agent. His agent was saying that no, he was actually waiting for Sano out in the parking lot. So there's already a difference in the stories there. I'm not saying that he didn't do it. I'm just saying that that this is going to be hard for her to prove, in my opinion. But here's the thing. Oh, hey, we got Crystal watching now. Hey, welcome in, Crystal. with everything that's going on right now in the world with sexual assault allegations, pretty much every single day you see a new one. It's going to be very, very hard for Miguel Sano to avoid a suspension of some kind. I don't think she has enough evidence to get him suspended very long. My guess is going to be it'll probably be something like a 40-game suspension, which is long, but it's only what is that, about about 1/4 of a season. So he'll be back. But here's the thing. I mean, today he met with investigators from Major League Baseball about the incident in question. There's no indication of what was said or what was asked. My guess is he was asked, does he know who Betsy Bisson is? Did this event happen as she says it did? And the only thing that she's really done, as far as we know, is just posted about it on Twitter in a very lengthy tweet, to which some of his former teammates have come out and said that he is a guy that says, or that acts like women chasing is the greatest game in the world to him. So they've all said that they weren't surprised by these allegations. Now, that's not proof saying that he did anything, but I would think that he's still going to be facing a suspension, simply because MLB will be trying to again save face, pretty much the same way as the NFL did with Ezekiel Elliott. They'll try to save face here with the fans in this Miguel Sano situation. Don't get me wrong, the accusations that Betsy Bisson are placing on Miguel Sano are nowhere near, in my opinion, as egregious as the accusations that Ezekiel Elliott's ex-girlfriend laid on him. I mean, as far as she said, she was bruised all up and down her arm by him grabbing her, but at least she's not saying that he beat the shit out of her. So the Twins had hoped for a resolution to this before spring training. Thing is that today the investigators met with him, so I'm pretty sure we're going to see a resolution coming up in this matter here very soon. My guess is possibly within the next 2 weeks we'll hear what Major League Baseball has decided to do. Again, my suspicion is going to be a suspension probably in the area of 40 games. Maybe not even that long. The last they gave Aroldis Chapman a 40-game suspension a couple years ago due to a domestic violence issue, but that one he was pretty much at fault there, no doubt of that. So it might not be quite that long. It might only be like 20 games, but I would almost bet he's gonna. Excuse me. So sorry, Crystal. I'm burping like a mofo. I got a Dr. Pepper right here. He's going to be suspended for at least a good 20 games, at least. But my guess is going to be closer to 40. So, all right. So on to some more baseball news, and let me see. My phone doesn't always tell me how many viewers I have. Let me see if it is just Crystal. Yeah, it is just Crystal. So not anything wrong with that, Crystal. I still love you, girl. Anyways. So, and I meant to show you the picture of Miguel Sano, but you guys saw it last night if you watched the show. So the freak, Tim Lincecum, the former 2-time Cy Young Award winner with the San Francisco Giants, who last pitched in 2016 with the Angels and did not look like the same Tim Lincecum that won the 2 Cy Young Awards, went out and he had his tryout. I believe it was last week. I talked to you guys about it. And it turns out that, yes, he's finally agreed to terms with a team on a $1 million base salary with opportunity for bonuses. That team is the Texas Rangers. Yes, the former favorite team of everybody here in Texas. Now it's back to being the Astros, and as soon as the Rangers overtake the Astros, the Rangers are going to be everyone's favorite team again. But anyways, so he will most likely at least start off as a reliever. If they have any of their starters go down, it would not surprise me at all to see him at least make a couple spot starts. My guess is if he's looking really good, they might even put him in the rotation. So I was really hoping the Cardinals would go after him because God knows we need some bullpen help. But I guess the Cardinals didn't even make him an offer. So it's a $1 million base salary. As far as I can tell, it's only for 1 year, but I don't know that for a fact because no report that I read had said how many years. But and being that it's only 1 year, $1 million sounds about right for, again, a former two-time Cy Young Award winner. So, all right, so on to some NFL. Jerry Jones, I told you all about him last night, the incident or the issue that he's got going on right now where the NFL is Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL, wants to fine him. Shut up, phone. Wants to fine him upwards of $2 million, well, actually more than $2 million, to pay for legal fees incurred in both the Ezekiel Elliott defense and in the preparation for possible litigation involving the Roger Goodell contract. The story there is that Jerry Jones was threatening to sue 6 of the owners, and thus the NFL, if they went ahead and went along with re-signing Roger Goodell to a contract extension. And from all indications, most of those 6 owners in the compensation committee were actually siding with Jerry Jones about not re-signing or not extending Goodell's contract due to massive financial losses that the NFL has suffered over the recent years. But they decided to go ahead and sign or extend Goodell's contract because, according to them, Jerry Jones had threatened to sue them. So, because of that, they were prepping for litigation, and so you don't start prepping for litigation without paying your lawyer. You've got to pay your lawyer first. This is not a case where you win and you get paid. No, that's not what it is. It's not a personal injury case. This is contract law, basically, is what this is. So they were already prepping for a lawsuit that never came, but they prepped for it anyway. So, according to Roger Goodell and the NFL, their legal expenses are more than $2 million, and that's what they're asking Jerry Jones to pay. Now, Jerry Jones wants a hearing to appeal the fine, but Roger Goodell has still not gotten back to him yet about that, and so we'll have to keep our eyes on that to see what Roger Goodell says. My guess is he's going to grant the appeal, but he's probably not going to approve the appeal. He's probably going to shut it down, or unless it actually goes to an actual court, and then it'd be up to the judge. And in my case, or in my opinion, I think that the judge would shut it down too. So I think that Jerry Jones is going to end up paying more than $2 million to the NFL. And he is none too happy about that. I am pretty damn sure. So, sticking with the Cowboys in a way, the NFL is looking into possible rule changes for the catch rule. If you remember this year, Week 15, Patriots versus Steelers, Jesse James made a touchdown catch at the very end of the game that was overruled because when the ball hit the ground in the end zone, mind you, so he had already crossed the goal line, they decided it was incomplete because he didn't maintain possession once he hit the ground. And in all honesty, that is kind of how the rule read. It did. That's how the rule read. Now, does that mean that that's what the rule should have been? Absolutely not. I think that was stupid. I think that was a catch. And today, what's his name? Mara from the New York Giants, the owner of the New York Giants, who sits on the competition committee of the NFL, says that they have decided that Des Bryant's catch back in 2015, I believe it was, in the playoffs, or his no catch against the Green Bay Packers on 4th and 12 at the end of the game, should have actually been ruled a catch. So, I mean, you can't change the outcome of the game now. There's no way, they're not going to go back and replay that or anything like that. But they're saying that, yes, it should have been ruled a catch. So they're talking about looking into that catch rule when the owners' meetings come up. I think the owners' meetings are in the next couple weeks. To go ahead and make plays like that end up being considered a catch. And if so, thank God, because I think everybody in America, you know what a catch is. You know what a catch is. You know, if you have possession of the ball, it's a catch. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter if you lose possession of the ball once you pass the goal line. It is a catch. So, thankfully, they're looking into that. They're also looking into possibly doing what they do in college, which is a maximum 15-yard penalty for pass interference, instead of if the quarterback throws it down 40 yards on the down the field and there's an interference, instead of giving them the ball at the spot of the foul, they're going to go ahead and just give them a maximum of 15 yards. I think that's a good rule. I've always liked that in college because you don't know for a fact that he would have caught it anyways. So yes, that's what's happening right now as far as the rules are going in the NFL. So now let's go ahead and get on to my favorite part of the show, which is the part of the show where I tell you guys who would be my top 5 at every position if I were to be the GM of an expansion Major League Baseball franchise, who I would start off with. There are no real base set of rules for this other than, you pick your top 5. But for me, the way I look at it is that I want a team, and I was telling you guys this earlier, I want a team that's going to win long term, not just right now. I'm not looking at right now, I'm looking long term, so that the team can bring in money for years to come, so that we're competitive for years to come. So I'm looking at younger players. That's me. If you want to come up with a top 5 of your own and you want to win right now and you feel like I'm trying to think of an older guy that's playing shortstop right now, or hell, yesterday I was talking about third baseman and I was saying Adrian Beltre is one of the greatest of all time, first ballot Hall of Famer in my opinion, but he would not be in my top 5 because he has maybe 2 years left. So if you want to say that same thing, feel free to. This is not an argument. This is just a discussion about who I would pick. And you know what? Go ahead and message me back with your guys' picks. So I would love that very, very much. So let's go ahead and get this underway. I'm going for younger ball players again. So my number 5 ball player or shortstop that I would start off a Major League Baseball expansion franchise with if I were the GM is going to be Paul DeJong. Yes, his name is actually spelled DeJong, but it's pronounced DeJong. He was, I believe, he finished 3rd in Rookie of the Year voting last year. Had a phenomenal year. He really only played basically just over half a year at the Major League level, I mean. He's 24 years old. Last year he hit 285, 25 homers, 65 RBI. He's a good fielder. He's a great fielder. He did make a couple errors in the field, but I think with time he's going to get a lot better at that. I think that he's going to be one of the top shortstops here for years to come. I'm hoping he comes out this year and has a great year like he did last year. It'll be his second year, so it'll be interesting to watch. There is the whole sophomore slump thing, so maybe he will come out and just not have as good of a year. But I'm hoping that he does. So number 4 is going to be from the National League champion LA Dodgers, and that's Corey Seager. Corey Seager, again, he's young. He's 23 years old. He hit last year 295, 22 home runs, 77 RBI. He's, I think, slightly better fielder right now than Paul DeJong, but I think he's been more of a total gem for the Dodgers so far than what DeJong has been, because DeJong's only been, like I said, he's only played 1 year. So Seager's been around for a couple of years, and he has been phenomenal. So I think Seager would be my number 4. But my number 3, if we're going to stick in the same division, and this one is kind of hard for me to do because he did not have as great an offensive year last year as he did his rookie year. But it's going to be Trevor Story from the Colorado Rockies. Candace, I'm doing my show. Damn it. You guys, leave me alone when I'm doing my show, please. Anyways, Trevor Story from the Colorado Rockies. He is 25 years old, had a phenomenal start to his rookie year. He, I believe, hit 7 home runs in his first 8 games or something like that. Suffered an injury and came back and was a little slower, but still. Last year, though, he only hit .239. I think he's going to get a lot better this year. I think last year was kind of his sophomore slump. He had 24 home runs, 82 RBI. I really believe that that he's going to bounce back and have a lot better of a year, especially he's got Nolan Arenado still there. He's got Charlie Blackmon there. He's got several big-time offensive pieces that are on that team, so he should be able to bounce back and have a better year this year. It was kind of hard just because of the down year that he had, but all in all, I think he's going to end up being really damn good. So, yeah, look for Trevor Story, and that's my number 3 pick. My number 2 pick, and I think this is everybody's number 1 and 2 pick right here, these next two. The number 2 pick for me is from the Cleveland Indians, Francisco Lindor. He is as awesome as they come. He can do anything on the field that he wants to. He can hit, he can run, he can field the ball as well as anybody. He last year hit .273, 33 home runs, 9 RBI. He is definitely he's, in my opinion, probably the second best shortstop in the game. And that's only because my number 1 shortstop is, in my opinion, the best in the game. But Francisco Lindor is friggin' great. He's a great ball player, a great shortstop, and he would be a prize for anybody to pick up. I think he's got his free agent year coming up next year, I believe, maybe the year after that. But my guess is he's going to stick around in Cleveland. He's very well loved there. So he is the second coming of Omar Vizquel for them. So, finally, here's number 1. Number 1 on my list of shortstops I would start a Major League Baseball expansion franchise with. And this should come as absolutely no surprise to anybody, especially you here in Texas. Carlos Correa from Houston Astros. Probably, like I said, the best shortstop in the game today. Last year, and by the way, he's only 23, but last year he hit .315, 24 home runs, 84 RBI, and he was on the DL for, I want to say, 25 games last year. If he had stuck around if he had not gotten hurt, how high would those numbers have been? They would have been a lot higher than that. He was a very key piece to them winning the World Series last year. And he is no doubt a future American League MVP. He is no doubt, in my opinion, the best shortstop in the game. And he's going to continue just to get better. And that's scary for everybody that has to play him. So, all right, guys. Is there any questions at all? Anybody, comments, complaints, suggestions, anything at all? If you're watching this on Facebook, thank you very much. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like, subscribe, share, all that fun jazz. And if you are watching on Facebook, get over to the YouTube channel, 4th and a Mile, and subscribe and like this video on there too. That's what I'm trying to do, guys. I'm not trying to keep this on Facebook the entire time. I want to get this out there. So, all right, guys. If there's nothing at all, then I hope you guys have a great Tuesday night. I think I'm going to go do some karaoke with Candace. That's why she was calling here a few minutes ago. So, I love you all. Y'all have a good night. Stay safe. And, of course, besos.